Hey, training family. I wanted to give some practical advice this week. As we finish our study of the Book of Kings, we have looked at David's heart and spiritual legacies. And now we come to a place where we can see how if a leader chooses to follow God can really impact the people. Near the ending of 2 Kings, we meet Josiah, where it says, "Before him there was no king like him, who turned to the Lord with all of his heart and with all of his soul and with all his strength, according to the law of Moses, and no one like him arose after him." Josiah was a king who wanted himself and the people to follow God. Chapter 23, verse 3 says, "Next the king stood by the pillar and made a covenant in the Lord's presence to follow the Lord and to keep his commands, his decrees, and his statutes with all of his heart, with all of his soul, in order to carry out the words of this covenant that were written in this book." All the people agreed to the covenant. And what is crazy to me is that Josiah's heart was on following God before the law was read to him. In chapter 22, he makes progress in repairing the temple. That's when they find the law in the temple, take it back to the throne room, and read it to him. Josiah reacts immediately. Verse 13 in chapter 22 says, "Go and inquire the Lord for me, for the people, and for all of Judah about the words in this book that has been found. For great is the Lord's wrath that is kindled against us, because our ancestors have not obeyed the words of this book in order to do everything written about us." And while it says he truly had a heart for God, we still see that sometimes it can be a little too late. Chapter 23, verse 26, after it talks about how Josiah turned towards the Lord, it says, "In spite of all of that, the Lord did not turn from the fury of his intense burning anger, which burned against Judah because of all the affronts with which Manasseh had angered him." Manasseh being Josiah's father, which, just go reread chapter 21. It's amazing Josiah turned out the way he did with that kind of a father, but I digress. Leaders whose heart is set on the right thing can make or break the people that follow them. In this world, we're not always going to have leaders who know who God is intimately, but there is still a strong sense of right or wrong in all of us. So what I'm trying to say is, make sure you strongly support the leaders who sacrifice for the people, who strive to do the right thing according to God's word, whether they know it or not. You do, so support them as they exemplify God's word. And then pray for those leaders who don't. And then, as the believer in the room, exemplify doing the right thing in hopes that they may come to know God by your actions. We are his image, and sometimes we may be the only representation in the room. But as a body of believers, there is much that can be said about the leadership we submit to, whether that be at school, on our jobs, or even in your friend group. And as a body of believers, our actions often speak louder than our words. Love y'all. Shalom.